Now, of course, we have the, well, I guess, comedic sort of guys who cheer on and they stand in the background. And in the first series, we have Tristan Taylor, aka Hirota Honda, and to a lesser extent, Duke Devlin, aka Ryuji Otogi or something. And actually, there's not much I can say about these guys except that they're mostly, well, actually, this is more Tristan than others, but they're kind of the cheerleaders in a sense. They often are the tougher guys. They're the ones who make the jokes, kind of. And it is actually more Tristan than Duke, since Duke actually was fairly recent. And Tristan is more of a character who you'd like to see, you'd enjoy seeing him. And his character's not very developed, and, well, aside from the comedic parts, and ultimately this supports it since he doesn't really need much character development. So ultimately he's not the perfect character, but he's not the terrible character either. So like I said, there isn't really much I can say about these guys, except for the fact that they're funny and they're the kinds of people you like to pay attention to, since they always kind of make you laugh and they don't really have to do that much. And the thing, if it's Tristan only duels once and he doesn't even duel all the way through. And because of that, like Tristan and Duke while Duke does do more than Tristan, he's more of a background character, and since he actually started off as more of an antagonist sort of guy, and because of that, he's more interesting. He doesn't really need much character development like Tristan, so ultimately they're just kind of the characters you like, but you don't really love. Alright, and in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, we have Tyranno Hassleberry, aka Tyranno Kenzan. Now, compared to Tristan and Duke, Hassleberry does a considerably larger amount of stuff. He duels a lot more. Well, by a lot more, I mean like 4 battles, but those are more duels nonetheless. And he kind of still opens the humor, since he's kind of the tough guy with the softer inner thing. Well, I can't believe I just put those two words together, but ultimately he kind of, like Tristan and Duke, he doesn't really need that much character development, but he's also kind of the guy you wouldn't mind seeing get hurt, because if he does, it'd often be comedic and more or less, well, lighthearted and wouldn't really get you that much if it did. Alright, and in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, you have Leo and Luna, aka Rua and Ruka. Now, I can actually say more about these two characters because they're considered to be part of the main slew, I suppose. And ultimately, they're the classic twins, ultimately. Luna is kind of the underconfident, shy, sort of timid girl, while Leo is the tough, well, not tough, more like the blundering guy who's always ready to duel anyone, and he's always the ambitious type. And, however, it doesn't really give, like, the love-hate relationship like a lot of twins do, and instead it's still obvious, like, very firm sibling devotion. And this is probably one of the most overriding bond substances in this series, since, well, they literally do have a bond in a sense.